Good morning and welcome to Rideau Hall. As the ceremony is about to begin, I would like to inform you that our official photographer will be taking photos which will be shared in the coming days. Therefore, I would ask that you please refrain from taking pictures throughout the ceremony. As a reminder, please ensure that your cell phones are turned to silent mode. Thank you. Bonjour et soyez les bienvenus à Rideau Hall. Avant de commencer la cérémonie, j'aimerais vous informer que notre photographe officiel prendra des photos lors de l'événement et qu'elles vous seront partagées dans les jours à venir. Par conséquent, je vous demanderai de ne pas prendre de photos pendant la cérémonie. J'aimerais également vous rappeler d'éteindre la sonnerie de vos téléphones cellulaires. Merci. The ceremony will now begin with the entrance of the Clerk of the Privy Council and Secretary to the Cabinet, John Hannaford, the Secretary to the Governor-General, Ken McKillop, and the Assistant Clerk of the Privy Council, Jana Rinaldi. La cérémonie débutera maintenant avec l'arrivée du greffier du Conseil privé et secrétaire du cabinet, John Hannaford, du secrétaire de la gouverneure générale, Ken McKillop, et de la greffière adjointe du Conseil privé, Jana Rinaldi.
Good morning. Bonjour. To begin today's swearing-in ceremony, I invite you to please rise to welcome the ministers, ministers-designate, the Prime Minister-designate, and their Excellencies, the Governor-General of Canada, and Mr. Whit Fraser. Pour débuter la cérémonie, veuillez vous lever pour accueillir les ministres désignés, le Premier ministre désigné, et leurs Excellences, le Gouverneur général du Canada et M. Whit Fraser. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir. Merci. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ken McKillop, and I'm the Secretary to the Governor-General. I would like to welcome everybody to Rideau Hall today for the swearing-in of the 24th Prime Minister of Canada and the 30th Canadian Ministry. I'd like to take a moment to share with you a traditional activity that was initiated just prior to the beginning of the ceremony, the lighting of the hulik, a traditional Inuit lamp. This lamp is used in the north to bring light and warmth to the home. We light the hulik to mark important events such as today's ceremony. And we are grateful for the presence of Elder Canon Iga Atikutsiak from Arctic Bay, who lit the hulik and will remain and maintain its light and warmth throughout the ceremony. Nakumik. J'aimerais maintenant inviter l'aîné algonquine Verna McGregor à prononcer ces mots de bienvenue.
Merci. Kwe kakina. Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, everybody. Very honored to be here today, and I'd like to welcome you to our traditional unceded lands here, and I'm very honored, Your Excellency, for the invitation. I do many openings for constituents in Ottawa here, but I always talk about the significance here because this is so special for us as Algonquin. We're known as the Mamaninawak, the nomads, and we're known for the birch bark canoe. And we would meet here in the summer prior to contact to talk about what's going on the land. But this confluence here is very special because it represents balance of the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 stages of your life. And so, and I find it interesting that Parliament and Rideau Hall and all the government headquarters are located here, because I think this is special too as well for leadership. And I'm honoring the new leader today too as well. And I was thinking about you today. I said it's like the geese, and you have the head, the person at the head, Ganiganich, and they face the head waters. And I think we're in for always challenges, but even more so today. So I'm going to honor you and all of you with a little opening prayer and thanking everybody. And so I say, miigwech, ojenya gashkito, jama dose konshe nongo, mwame kakina niganich. Shwen mishnoni na because miigwech onje kakina gagishen dan oje mam deke nindekimenon. Shkai question kaso nindekimenon. We don't kakina pamasaje konje nagadawam dan kakina guchin nindekimenon. Mam deke nishnabe ki miigwech onje kakina ete kijigo, kizis to be kizis a shichanungshak. We don't con no commisnon on jay and agado abdan kakina gujia nibi a shitch nimashomsanon, kizis on jay and agado abdan kakina gujia, pamad sajik and iswa gonche, migwech on jay na sewen, kaki mijin, chimino pamad zian on jay. We don't qua kakinan and jino and daganak, nimashomsanon, the gokmisnon, a shitch nidont and is on jay no gom on jay, the bashkadagama come a shed in iswa gonche. A shit kakinan and jino and daganak, and wesi sak mitigog, mijaski mashkiki kakina gagi gendan. Kacheshquat negwe de semen, kego gajeman and doshit kan and ojgush negwe de semen, we dokwag kakina, mam de gay, we wissen a jik, the mogas a jik, akas a jik, kaye we me god with jik non com chuwana ki watch, chimino pamadzu watch, mia, migwech, yeah, migwech. I say miigwech 4 times to honor again the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 stages of our lives. We come from spirit and we return back to spirit. We come from the earth, we return back to the earth. And in my prayer, what I'm saying is I'm thanking everybody to coming together here. And always a reminder too as well to look after the earth. Because again, one of the teachings is that we were all given the original instructions to look after the earth, because we all share the earth, we share the water, we share the air, and the fire of the sun, our internal fires. So that's why, again, Ganiganich, the one in front, it has a big responsibility, and that's why we're having this ceremony today. So, miigwech everybody, and have a good day. Merci. Merci à tous.
Thank you, Elder McGregor. Merci, Annie McGregor. Mr. John Hannaford, the Clerk of the Privy Council and the Secretary to the Cabinet, will now seek the Governor-General's consent for the administration of the Oath of Allegiance, the Privy Councillor's Oath, and the Oath of Office to the Prime Minister-Designate.
Excellency, the Prime Minister-Designate has accepted your invitation to form a new government and is prepared to be sworn in. Excellence, le Premier ministre désigné a accepté votre invitation de former le gouvernement et est disposé à servir le serment.
The Prime Minister-Designate will please come forward to be sworn in. Le Premier ministre désigné est prié de s'avancer pour prêter serment. Mr. Mark Karni, Mr. Mark Karni.
Moi, Mark Karni, je jure fidélité et sincère allégeance à Sa Majesté le roi Charles III, roi du Canada, à ses héritiers et successeurs. I, Mark Karni, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors. Moi, Mark Karni, je jure solennellement et sincèrement que j'agirai en fidèle et loyal serviteur de Sa Majesté le roi Charles III en ma qualité de membre du Conseil privé de Sa Majesté pour le Canada. J'exprimerai fidèlement, honnêtement et en toute vérité mon sentiment et mon opinion sur toutes choses traitées, débattues et résolues en Conseil. Je tiendrai secret tout ce qui me confie ou révélé en cette qualité, ou tout ce dont il sera traité secrètement en Conseil. J'agirai en toutes circonstances comme il convient à une fidèle et loyale serviteur de Sa Majesté. I, Mark Karni, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I shall be a true and faithful servant to His Majesty King Charles III as a member of His Majesty's Privy Council for Canada. I will, in all things, to be treated, debated, and resolved in Privy Council, faithfully, honestly, and truly declare my mind and my opinion. I shall keep secret all matters committed and revealed to me in this capacity, or that shall be secretly treated of in council. Generally, in all things I shall do as a faithful and true servant ought to do for His Majesty. Moi, Mark Karni, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'écouterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de Premier ministre. I, Mark Karni, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister and the Governor-General and the Clerk of the Privy Council are signing the oath books to formally witness the swearing-in of the Prime Minister, but they're also signing the instruments of advice nominating the new Canadian ministry. Congratulations, Prime Minister. Et maintenant que la gouverneure générale a signifié son approbation, nous procéderons à l'assermentation du 30e Conseil des ministres canadiens. The ministers and ministers designate will please come forward to be sworn in. Les ministres et les ministres désignés sont priés de s'avancer pour prêter serment. L'honorable Dominique Leblanc, ministre du Commerce international et des Affaires intergouvernementales et président du Conseil privé du roi pour le Canada, the Honorable Dominique Leblanc, Minister of International Trade and Intergovernmental Affairs and President of the King's Privy Council for Canada.
Moi, Dominique Leblanc, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre du Commerce international et des Affaires intergouvernementales et président du Conseil privé du roi pour le Canada. I, Dominic LeBlanc, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of International Trade and Intergovernmental Affairs and President of the King's Privy Council for Canada.
L'honorable Mélanie Joly, ministre des Affaires étrangères et du Développement international, n'est pas en mesure de se joindre à nous et se assermenter prochainement cet après-midi. The Honorable Mélanie Joly, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Development, is unable to join us this morning, but will be sworn in at a later time this afternoon. Maintenant, l'honorable François-Philippe Champagne, ministre des Finances. The Honorable François-Philippe Champagne, Minister of Finance.
Moi, François-Philippe Champagne, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre des Finances. I, François-Philippe Champagne, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Minister of Finance. Thank you. Prime Minister.
There it is. The Honorable Indira Anita Anand, Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry. L'Honorable Indira Anita Anand, Ministre de l'Innovation, des Sciences et de l'Industrie.
I, Indira Anita Anand, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry. Moi, Indira Anita Anand, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de l'Innovation, des Sciences et de l'Industrie.
The Honourable William Sterling Blair, Minister of National Defence. L'Honourable William Sterling Blair, Ministre de la Défense nationale.
I, William Sterling Blair, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of National Defence. Thank you, John.
The Honourable Patty Hajdu, Minister of Indigenous Services. L'Honourable Patty Hajdu, Ministre des Services des Autochtones.
I, Patricia Hajdu, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Indigenous Services. Moi, Patricia Hajdu, je promets et déclare solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de service aux Autochtones.
The Honourable Jonathan Wilkinson, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources. L'Honourable Jonathan Wilkinson, Ministre de l'Énergie et des Ressources naturelles.
I, Jonathan Wilkinson, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Energy and Natural Resources. Moi, Jonathan Wilkinson, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, J'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de l'Énergie et des Ressources naturelles.
L'Honorable Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor, Président du Conseil du Trésor. The Honorable Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor, President of the Treasury Board.
Moi, Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs qui m'attireraient des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de présidente du Conseil du Trésor. I, Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skills and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as President of the Treasury Board.
L'Honorable Stephen Guilbeault, ministre de la Culture et de l'Identité canadienne, Parc Canada et lieutenant du Québec. The Honorable Stephen Guilbeault, Minister of Canadian Culture and Identity, Parks Canada and the Quebec Lieutenant.
Moi, Stephen Guilbeault, je promets et déclare solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de la Culture et de l'Identité canadienne, Parc Canada et lieutenant du Québec. I, Stephen Guilbeault, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Canadian Culture and Identity, Parks Canada, and Quebec Lieutenant. Thank you. Merci, John.
The Honorable Chrystia Freeland, Minister of Transport and Internal Trade. L'Honorable Chrystia Freeland, Ministre des Transports et du Commerce intérieur.
I, Chrystia Freeland, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Transport and Internal Trade. Moi, Chrystia Freeland, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, J'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre des Transports et du Commerce intérieur.
The Honourable Kamal Khera, Minister of Health. L'Honorable Kamal Khera, Ministre de la Santé.
I, Kamal Khera, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Minister of Health.
The Honourable Gary Anandasangari, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada and Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs. L'Honorable Gary Anandasangari, Ministre de la Justice et le Procureur général du Canada et le Ministre des Relations couronnes autochtones et des Affaires du Nord.
I, Gary Anandasangari, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada and Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs. As Minister of Justice, I will see that the administration of public affairs is in accordance with the law. As Attorney General of Canada, I will uphold the Constitution, the rule of law, and the independence of the judiciary and of the prosecutorial function. Moi, Gary Anandasangari, je promets et jure, solemnement et sincèrement, comme mieux de ma compétence et ma conscience, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement le pouvoir et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de la Justice et procureur général du Canada et ministre des Relations couronnes autochtones et des Affaires du Nord. En tant que ministre de Justice, je veillerai au respect de la loi dans l'administration des affaires publiques. En tant que procureur général du Canada, je ferai respecter la Constitution, le prometteur de droit et l'indépendance de la magistrature et de la fonction de poursuite.
The Honorable Richie Valdez, Chief Government Whip. L'Honorable Richie Valdez, Whip du chef du gouvernement.
I, Richie Valdez, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully and to the best of my skill and knowledge execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Chief Government Whip. Moi, Richie Valdez, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement que, mieux de ma compétence et ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de whip en chef du gouvernement.
L'Honorable Stephen Garrett McKinnon, Ministre de l'Emploi et des Familles. The Honorable Stephen Garrett McKinnon, Minister of Jobs and Families.
Moi, Stephen Garrett McKinnon, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de l'Emploi et des Familles. I, Stephen Garrett McKinnon, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Jobs and Families.
L'Honorable David Joseph McGuinty, Ministre de la Sécurité publique et de la Protection civile. The Honorable David Joseph McGuinty, Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness.
Moi, David Joseph McGuinty, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de la Sécurité publique et de la Protection civile. I, David Joseph McGuinty, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and the trusts reposed in me as Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Terry Duguid, Minister of Environment and Climate Change. L'honorable Terry Duguid, Ministre de l'Environnement et du Changement climatique.
I, Terry Gordon Duguid, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Environment and Climate Change. Moi, Terry Gordon Duguid, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de l'Environnement et du Changement climatique.
The Honourable Nathaniel Erskine Smith, Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities. L'honorable Nathaniel Erskine Smith, Ministre du Logement, de l'Infrastructure et des Collectivités.
I, Nathaniel Erskine Smith, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Housing, Infrastructure, and Communities.
L'honorable Rachel Bendayen, Minister de l'Immigration, des Réfugiés et de la Citoyenneté. The Honourable Rachel Bendayen, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship.
Moi, Rachel Bendayen, je promets et déclare solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre de l'Immigration, des Réfugiés et de la Citoyenneté. I, Rachel Bendayen, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship.
L'honorable Élisabeth Brière, ministre des Anciens combattants et des ministres responsables de l'Agence de revenus du Canada. The Honorable Elizabeth Brière, Minister of Veterans Affairs and Minister responsible for the Canadian Revenue Agency.
Moi, Élisabeth Brière, je promets et déclare solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et de ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en qualité de ministre des Anciens combattants et ministre responsable de l'Agence du revenu du Canada. I, Élisabeth Brière, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Veterans Affairs and Minister responsible for the Canada Revenue Agency.
The Honourable Joanne Thompson, Minister of Fisheries, Oceans and the Canadian Coast Guard. L'Honorable Joanne Thompson, Ministre des Pêches, des Océans et la Garde côtière canadienne.
I, Joanne Thompson, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Fisheries, Oceans, and the Canadian Coast Guard.
Ariel Kayabaga, Leader of the Government in the House of Commons and Minister of Democratic Institutions. Ariel Kayabaga, Leader du gouvernement dans la Chambre des communes et Ministre de l'Institution démocratique.
I, Ariel Kayabaga, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors. Moi, Ariel Kayabaga, je jure fidélité et sincère allégeance à Sa Majesté le roi Charles III, roi du Canada et ses héritiers et successeurs. I, Ariel Kayabaga, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I shall be a true and faithful servant to His Majesty King Charles III as a member of His Majesty Private Council for Canada, and I will in all things be treated, debated, and resolved in private council faithfully, honestly, and I truly declare my mind and opinion. I shall keep secret all matters committed and revealed to me in this capacity, or that I shall be secretly treated in council. Generally, in all things, I shall be a faithful and true servant out to do for His Majesty. Moi, Ariel Kayabaga, je jure solennellement et sincèrement que j'agirai en fidèle et loyal serviteur de Sa Majesté le roi Charles III, en ma qualité de membre de conseil privé de Sa Majesté pour le Canada. J'exprimerai fidèlement, honnêtement et en toute vérité mon sentiment, mon opinion et sur toute chose traité, débattu et résolu en conseil. Je tiendrai secret tout ce qui me sera confié ou révélé en cette qualité, ou tout ce dont il sera traité secrètement en conseil. J'agirai en toutes circonstances comme il convient à un fidèle et loyal serviteur de Sa Majesté. I, Ariel Kaibaga, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully and to the best of my skill and knowledge execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as the leader of government in the House of Commons and a minister of democratic institutions. Moi, Ariel Kaibaga, je promets et jure solennellement et sincèrement qu'au mieux de ma compétence et ma connaissance, j'exécuterai loyalement et fidèlement les pouvoirs et je m'acquitterai des responsabilités qui m'ont été confiées en ma qualité de leader du gouvernement de la Chambre des communes et ministre des institutions démocratiques. Merci.
Cody Blois, Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food and Rural Economic Development. Cody Blois, Ministre de l'Agriculture, de l'agroalimentaire et du Développement économique rural.
I, Cody Douglas Blois, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors. I, Cody Blois, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I shall be a true and faithful servant to His Majesty King Charles III as a member of His Majesty's Privy Council for Canada. I will in all things be treated, debated, and resolved in Privy Council, faithfully, honestly, and truly declare my mind and my opinion. I shall keep secret all matters committed and revealed to me in this capacity, or that shall be secretly treated of in council. Generally, in all things, I shall do as a faithful and true servant ought to do for His Majesty. I, Cody Douglas Blois, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully and to the best of my skill and knowledge execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food and Rural Economic Development. Thank you very much. This with you.
Ali Assassi, Minister of Government Transformation, Public Services and Procurement. Ali Assassi, Ministre de Transformation du gouvernement, des services publics et de l'approvisionnement.
I, Ali Cyrus Assassi, do declare that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors. I, Ali Cyrus Assassi, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I shall be a true and faithful servant to His Majesty King Charles III as a member of His Majesty's Privy Council for Canada. I will, in all things to be treated, debated, and resolved in Privy Council, faithfully, honestly, and truly declare my mind and my opinion. I shall keep secret all matters committed and revealed to me in this capacity, or that shall be secretly treated of in council. Generally, in all things, I shall do as a faithful and true servant ought to do for His Majesty. I, Ali Cyrus Assassi, do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Government Transformation, Public Services, and Procurement. Thank you.
The Governor-General, the Prime Minister, and the Clerk of the Privy Council will now sign the oath books to formally witness the swearing-in of these ministers. Please join me in congratulating the ministers. Merci, thank you. The Governor-General will now entrust the Great Seal of Canada to the custody of the Registrar-General of Canada. Le Gouverneur général confiera maintenant le Grand Sceau du Canada à la garde du Registre général du Canada. Will the Registrar-General please come forward? I now invite Métis Elder Vito Westlake to offer closing words. J'invite maintenant Aîné Métis Vito Westlake à prononcer des mots de clôture.
Tansi. We'll close with a prayer of gratitude. We thank you, Creator, for this day and for the democratic processes that have provided us with strong leadership, a new Prime Minister, and a new cabinet. We acknowledge and express gratitude for Canada and the Canadian values that sustain all of us, that provide us with freedoms within these values to help us become our best selves. We acknowledge and express gratitude for the Indigenous peoples of Canada who have always been the caretakers and protectors of our lands and waters, and who, generation after generation, have welcomed newcomers to their territories and provided them with a place of safety, security, and peace. We acknowledge and express gratitude for the ongoing commitment of Canadians to one another, to provide each other with necessities in times of need, for our commitment to education, social supports, and health services for everyone. We thank you also for the inclusivity of our cultural mosaic and our ongoing commitment to fight racism and discrimination wherever we find it. We acknowledge and express gratitude for our children, our families, and communities. We thank you for all of those who work tirelessly to ensure that our borders, our waters, and lands are healthy, protected, and that we are safe. We thank you for those who work tirelessly in the areas of climate change and climate change adaptation. As we welcome a new Prime Minister and a new cabinet, we ask that you guide their steps and those of all of us in the days ahead as we work for the well-being of Canada and Canadians and for the well-being of our lands, waters, and the living beings living with us here on these, their traditional territories. We ask that our circle be strong, that our nation be healthy, strong, safe, and secure. Chimigwich for all that you have given us. Merci.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez vous lever si vous le pouvez et vous joindre à Michel Cartier pour chanter l'hymne national. Et veuillez demeurer à vos places pour le départ de leurs excellences, du Premier ministre et des membres du 30e Conseil des ministres. Merci de votre participation à cette cérémonie today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here today. Will you please rise if you are able to join Michael Carty in singing of the national anthem today? And following the anthem, please remain at your places for the departure of Their Excellencies, the Prime Minister, and members of the 30th Canadian Ministry.
Thank you.
As-tu vu ça? Le clan Freeland distribuait des cloches avant.
Ah.
C'est comme bizarre.
Non,
parce que tu sais,
collector's items then.
oh,
Yeah?
Parce que
Oh,
elle
yeah.
avait, Gould avait des macarons, tu sais, Carni.
That's a CFL thing.
Yeah. This
Which I don't really like. J'aime pas le son de ça.
Et ouais. Mais moi, j'ai encore mes petites rouges et or.
Tes Thunder Sticks?
Oui. Non, mais mes cloches.
Les rouges et or, c'est encore... ça existe
j'ai encore mes billets de saison. Hein?
Ah ouais?
Yeah.
OK. Oh. C'est vrai que des...
1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Un, deux, un, deux, un, deux. Good.
Bonjour tout le monde. Bonjour. Vous allez bien? How's everyone? Good day for Canada.
Yeah, we always stand next to each other because we're the right.
I have it on now, so we're
Yeah, they like us together because we're the right height. It's perfect. It's why it's good to have.
OK. Que la fête commence. Alors, bonjour tout le monde. Hello, everyone. It is my honor to respond to the Governor General's request that I form a government. And it's a solemn duty to serve as Prime Minister at this time of great consequence for our country. The ceremony we just witnessed reflects the wonder of a country built on the bedrock of three peoples: Indigenous, French, and British. The opening and closing prayers evoke the original stewards of this land. They remind us of the deep roots from which we grow and underscore the values to which we aspire. The office of the Governor-General links us through the Crown and across time to Canada's proud British heritage. Et la cérémonie s'est déroulée dans nos deux langues officielles. Notre identité bilingue nous rend uniques et la langue française enrichit la culture. On these foundations, Canadians have built a dynamic nation that celebrates its diversity, that cares for the vulnerable in society, and that always strives for a better tomorrow. Ce nouveau cabinet est pleinement conscient de nos responsabilités pour renforcer les fondations de notre nation durant cette crise et pour bâtir un Canada encore meilleur. J'ai le plaisir de vous présenter l'équipe extraordinaire et qualifiée qui servira au sein de mon gouvernement et qui défendra les valeurs qui nous tiennent au cœur. Notre gouvernement changera notre façon de travailler, se concentrera sur l'essentiel et adoptera une approche axée sur l'action pour relever les défis devant lesquels nous faisons face. Canada's new government is changing how we work so we can deliver better results faster to all Canadians. We have new ministers with new ideas, ready to respond to new threats and to seize new opportunities. Canada's new government is focused on the things that matter most to Canadians: growing more higher-paying jobs, improving affordability, and making Canada more secure. Canada's new government will be action-oriented, driven by a smaller but highly experienced team made to meet the moment we are in. Our leaner cabinet will focus on two priorities in particular. First, protecting Canadian workers and their families in the face of unjustified foreign trade actions. And second, growing this great country by putting more money in Canadians' pockets, by ensuring that government spends less so Canada can invest more, by building millions of homes, by making Canada a superpower in both conventional and clean energies, by creating new trade corridors with reliable partners, and by forging one Canadian economy out of 13. We will relentlessly pursue this positive agenda because Canadians know that negativity isn't strength. They know that negativity won't pay the rent or the mortgage. The negativity won't bring down the price of groceries. Negativity won't win a trade war. We know that by building together, we can give ourselves far more than anyone else can take away. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. Notre pays est Canada fort. Et notre gouvernement est uni et fort. Nous commencerons immédiatement avec notre première réunion du cabinet. Our country is Canada strong. Our government is united and strong. And we will immediately get to work with our first cabinet meeting as soon as I respond to a few of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Nous allons maintenant passer à une période de questions de 15 minutes. On va prendre une question suivie. We'll now do a 15-minute question period, one question, one follow-up. Merci.
Très bon Filion de TVA. Bonjour, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Juste ici.
Okay.
Enchanté. Vous allez vous rendre en Europe au cours des prochains jours. Est-ce que vous comptez également aller aux États-Unis rencontrer M. Trump avant de déclencher des élections?
J'ai reçu une invitation de M. le Président de la France afin d'avoir une conversation sur plusieurs enjeux, des enjeux commerciaux, des enjeux qui concernent la sécurité d'Europe, l'Ukraine, la sécurité du Canada. J'ai bien reçu une autre invitation de M. le Premier ministre du Royaume-Uni. Alors, c'est une bonne idée d'y aller parce qu'il faut que nous diversifions nos partenaires commerciaux et renforcer notre sécurité. J'aurai, j'espère, une conversation avec M. le Président des États-Unis, mais je n'ai pas un plan pour le moment d'y aller. Merci. I received the questions on a trip to Paris and London in a few days. I received an invitation from the President of France to discuss a variety of issues, both economic, commercial, to reinforce those relationships, also issues related to security in Europe, in Canada. Similar discussions will be had with the Prime Minister in the United Kingdom. This is sensible. Security is a priority for this government, reinforcing our security, as is diversifying our trading and commercial relationships. Of course, with both Europe and the United Kingdom, there are many opportunities. And as I said a moment ago in my remarks, there are historic ties. With respect to the President, I don't have plans to go to the United States. I look forward to speaking to him at the appropriate moment. Thank you.
Monsieur Carni, il y a Monsieur Rubio, Marco Rubio, ce matin dans Charlevoix. Il a essentiellement répété les propos de Donald Trump, selon qui le Canada, économiquement, serait mieux en tant que 51e État.
C'est ridicule.
En tant que Premier ministre, qu'est-ce que vous répondez à ces propos du secrétaire d'État américain tenus en sol canadien?
Ah. C'est fou, hein? C'est fou. C'est simple, c'est fou. Point final.
En anglais?
It's crazy. His point is crazy. That's it.
Question.
Yeah.
Hi, Prime Minister. Tom Perry with CBC. Can I ask you what your plans are for the next few weeks? Are you going to be bringing back the House? Are you going to be calling an early election? And if so, when should Canadians expect to go to the polls?
Well, they certainly should expect to go to the polls before November. The news today is behind me. An exceptional group of individuals who are serving Canada, united, focused cabinet, focused on action, focused on the issues for Canadians. We are, as I said a moment ago, we will be going to take some decisions which directly meet some of the objectives I set out in my remarks and we've been discussing. That's the news for today. There will be other news in the coming days with respect to ensuring that we have as strong a mandate that is needed for the time. Thank you.
And when you're in Europe, are you going to be seeking assurances from Canada's allies that this country will never become America's 51st state? And when would it be an appropriate time for you to take that message to the U.S. president?
Well, I've been clear, personally I've been clear, the ministers behind me, I think to an individual, when asked, have been clear that we will never, ever, in any way, shape or form, be part of the United States. America is not Canada. Look at the ceremony we just had. You could not have had that ceremony. You would not have that ceremony in America. Look at the cabinet behind me. You would not have that cabinet in America. You do not have that cabinet in America. We are a very fundamentally different country. So irrespective of any issues economically, fundamentally to our core, to our identity, is one reason why we have a minister, and I will thank Monsieur Guilbeault to be our Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture and bringing in all those aspects and reinforcing them. So before we get to the economics of it, we won't be part of it. And when we get to the economics, then the president is a successful business person and deal maker. We're his largest client in so many industries. As the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Industry, Monsieur Leblanc and Monsieur Champagne have made this point. Clients expect respect and working together in a proper commercial way. So the nature of Canada means we won't. The economics means we shouldn't. And what you will see from this government is focusing on building here at home, building with different partners abroad, and that will reinforce the point. It's good. We're doing it for our own reasons, to be clear, for our own people, for the high-paying jobs. But eventually, the truth will out, and the Americans will understand as well. Thank you.
Our allies, sir, do you want to?
I don't think we need. I don't think we need to hear it from. Nous sommes maîtres. We're masters in our own home. We're in charge. You know, we're in charge. It's always nice when people say nice things about you, but we don't need it. We're not seeking it. What the discussions I will have on behalf of the government in Paris and in London will relate to opportunities that both our countries share, as well as our shared history.
Monsieur le Premier ministre, Valérie Gamache de Radio-Canada, enchantée. Vous n'avez pas de ministres qui viennent de l'Alberta, qui ont une circonscription en Alberta. Est-ce que c'est parce que vous songez vous-même à vous présenter dans une circonscription albertaine?
Vous avez raison que j'ai grandi en Alberta et j'ai lancé ma campagne à Edmonton, ça c'est sûr. C'est pas le moment d'annoncer ma circonscription. Alors, votre prochaine question? It's a question. I'm complimenting the journalist from Radio-Canada, and I would like to compliment the very existence of Radio-Canada, and I'd like to reinforce that my government would be reinforcing. It goes back to Canadian identity, culture. This is away from the news, but the broader sense. So I'll finish the answer. I compliment the question. she's recognizing that I grew up in Alberta. I launched my campaign in Alberta. I'm just reinforcing today. Today, the story is behind me, and there will be more news because those behind me will be taking some important decisions this afternoon.
Monsieur Carni, depuis le début de votre point de presse, vous avez 3 fois mentionné les langues officielles. Pourtant, le nom « langues officielles » n'apparaît pas dans le nom du ministère de M. Guilbeault. Et vous avez remplacé patrimoine par identité canadienne. Est-ce qu'il y a là un message pour le Québec?
Pas du tout. Pas du tout. C'est un renforcement de notre identité. La langue française est au sein de l'identité canadienne. Et M. Guilbeault, il est un ministre exceptionnel, mais et il a maintenant la responsabilité, il a encore des responsabilités pour les langues officielles. Mais cette question de l'identité canadienne, c'est plus large de notre langue officielle, c'est plus large de notre patrimoine. Ça existe maintenant, on renforce, on bâtit l'identité canadienne. Ça inclut, ça c'est clé. L'identité canadienne inclut la nature. Et une des responsabilités de M. Guilbeault est de ramasser toutes nos responsabilités en ce qui concerne la nature, la biodiversité, nos océans, et de les protéger et les promouvoir. Merci.
J'ai une question. Next question.
Prime Minister Carney, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second, David Baxter, Canadian Press. April 1st is fast approaching, the date the consumer carbon tax is set to increase once again. You've talked about getting rid of it. How are you going to do it in the next 2 weeks?
Your question, how are we going to do it by the end of the day? That's a great question. And we'll come right back to you on that following the cabinet meeting.
In that order?
You have a better follow-up than that.
Oh, there is a better follow-up, but just to get clarification, you are going to do it by cabinet order?
Then that would be 3 questions, and everyone else will get angry.
There we go. We'll go back to it. So you've talked about Trump needing to show Canada respect.
President Trump.
President Trump needing to show Canada respect. You said that again just now. Are you not going to speak with President Trump until he cuts out this 51st state talk?
No. I look forward to speaking with President Trump, just to be clear. We respect the United States. We respect President Trump. President Trump has put some very important issues at the top of his agenda. We understand his agenda. We understand the importance of addressing the scourge of fentanyl, which is a challenge here in Canada as well as the United States. And I would say that the measures that have been put in place in recent weeks in Canada and Mexico, also the United States, means that we are making tremendous progress. I'll speak specifically for against fentanyl. We understand the importance President Trump places on American workers and American jobs. We want him and his administration to understand the importance we put on Canadian workers and Canadian jobs. And we will look for avenues to work together so that both objectives are met in terms of both our great economies, just as we are doing, and the people behind me have led this, just as we are doing with respect to the scourge of fentanyl. Thank you.
Prochaine question. Next one.
Hi, Prime Minister Carney. I'm Jillian Piper with Global News. I understand that your assets have been put into a blind trust. I wanted to ask you, what is the value of the assets and where did they come from? How can Canadians know that there's no conflict of interest if they don't know where the assets come from?
That's an odd question, or odd way of framing it. The assets are in a blind trust. So, and can I point out that for those who don't follow this, I have 6 months to put, or 120 days to put the assets in a blind trust. I already have put the assets in a blind trust. And once assets are in a blind trust, you don't know that, by definition, you don't know the assets because the trustees take over the responsibility. I would like to reassure you that the assets that I have were earned through employment. Employment income, employment as a public servant, and employment in the private sector. And I would note as well that employment in the private sector is something that the Leader of the Opposition has never experienced. And I would point as well that complying or meeting standards expected of a leader of a party, let alone a Prime Minister, is something that the Leader of Opposition has not respected either, and I'm speaking directly with respect to his refusal, still at a time of great crisis, to get his security clearance, something I managed to do in 2 weeks. En ce qui concerne mes actifs, j'ai eu des jobs dans le secteur privé, dans le secteur public, et j'aurai des actifs maintenant, et c'est dans une fiducie avec, en effet, je ne sais plus la composition des actifs. Ça, c'est le point d'avoir. Et j'ai mettre mes affaires dans une position, en ce qui concerne la fiducie avec, avant d'être Premier ministre. Avant d'être Premier ministre, j'aurais une centaine, 100 jours, 120 jours de le faire. Et le chef d'opposition, il est incapable, il refuse d'être, probablement il est capable, mais il refuse d'avoir sa carte sécuritaire après 3 années. C'est inacceptable pour moi.
Prime Minister, you keep pointing at the group behind you, your new cabinet. There's only 2 representatives from the West. What's your message to Western Canada?
So the numbers in the cabinet are all necessarily smaller because the cabinet is much smaller. And the cabinet is much smaller because it's focused on the issues that are most important to Canadians, meeting the moment, and the moment is a moment of crisis. We have very capable, exceptional members from Western Canada in there, as well as deputies from the West. But it's a factor when you reduce things down. And I'm Prime Minister of all of Canada, of course, and I'm from the West. And I would note maybe as well, and this is a challenge I think we have. I'll just make a general point. Let's take an example of Chrystia Freeland. Okay, exceptional minister, exceptional public service. Chrystia Freeland lives in Toronto. Chrystia Freeland is from the West. Chrystia Freeland is from Alberta. But people get classified in a way that limits the breadth of experience. I could give you many examples of the pan-Canadian nature of this cabinet.
Last question and follow-up. Dernière question et question de suivi.
Ramsey with the Toronto Star. Prime Minister, speaking of your cabinet, the front line of your cabinet and the vast majority of your cabinet were all ministers during Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's time. How does this represent change?
Well, there's a couple of things. One is this first thing, smaller cabinet, more focused on action. Everybody in this cabinet is senior. Everybody in this cabinet is senior, so I don't accept the front line and the implication that there's a front line and another line. The second thing is one of the top issues, of course, is the crisis with respect to the United States and the opportunity with respect to trade diversification. So keeping together those individuals who have been on, and now I'm going to use your term, the front line, but the front line in a commercial battle, keeping together those individuals so that we are seamlessly addressing these issues and seizing the opportunities was